Respected Grishanandaji, Swami Amarananda, devotees. Now, the theme is To a Friend, composed by Swami Amarananda. Those of you who have gone through the writings of Swami Amarananda, the speeches of Swami Amarananda, have noticed that there are certain central ideas in almost all of his lectures or compositions. And these are as follows. First of all, he is very confident, because he had experience of the confident about the ultimate truth, which is non-dual Brahman. And then you find also in him a tremendous compassion. As the sun goes, that in Jnana he is like Shankara, and here the Buddha like her. So he had these two things. Now you will remember that during his first encounter with Sri Ramakrishna, he was searching for God, and not only that, for an evidence that God exists at all. So he was putting this question to all the Brahma leaders, and it seems that he was also taking to other, minor sects of Hinduism and Christianity in search of this question. He was knocking to many, many doors. Now, when he became intellectually convinced that God exists, that Brahman exists, he had a dilemma with him. Because, mysticism meant seclusion from the society. So, to him it was a kind of selfishness, and he did not know how to reconcile these two tendencies in him. Because if you have a tendency, it must be in tune with the ultimate reality. So if the world is illusory, so compassion has no basis then. So this was tormenting him. That is why the day Sri Ramakrishna was elucidating the tenets of Bengal Vaishnavism, of which the greatest figure is Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the mystic of 16th century. So, and then Sri Ramakrishna, as he came to the point of Jiva Daya, this tenet of Vaishnavism. Jiva Daya means having pity towards normally any being, living being, but especially to human beings. And then he was in a mood of semi-ecstasy, and he uttered these words, that no, it is unacceptable. It cannot be pity. It is Shiva Jnani Jiva Seva. That means you consider the Jiva, the individual, especially the human individual, as Shiva, God. It is not a new doctrine, you see. Jiva Shiva is one of the central idea of Kashmir Shaivism. They say that this word, Pashunam Patai Namaha, it is there in the Vedas. Pashunam Patai Namaha. That means salutations to the Lord of these beasts, animals. So they have built a great philosophy on this. Pashu is the animal, including the human animal. And this Pashu remains a Pashu so long there is pasha, bondage. So Shiva for them is mitigated Shiva. Shiva, shorn of much of his glory and power, is the Jiva. And it is Jiva because of the Pasha, bondage. So this is not a new thing, but it came out of Sri Ramakrishna's mouth, and he was in a state of semi-ecstasy. You know, when mystics pronounce words in that mode, it has a tremendous effect. It is not the same thing when you read in a dead book, the same thing. It affects you. So there are many people in the room. Everybody heard, but it struck very specially Narayan. And he came out of the room to declare to his friends that I have got a new light today on the Vedantic doctrine of Jiva Brahmaiva Nahapara. Shankara has said that Jiva is nothing but Brahman. But here, today I have got a new light on this message. What is that light? Because it solved his big dilemma in his own personality. How to reconcile this Advaita Tattva, the fact that the absolute the appearance, the phenomenal existence is like a shadow, etc. And this necessity of compassion. If you have compassion, you cannot resist it. You feel an urge. So he found a way in this word, Shiva Jnani Jiva Seva. Service, to put it in simple words, it is service to man, considering man as God. It was for him, you see, when you may like a phrase in the Shastras, you may like a word coming from the lips of a mystic, but it is not really your own unless you have the experience. His experience of Brahman came, as we have discussed yesterday, most probably in January 1886, in the garden house at Kashipu. Yet, that experience was not sufficient for Vivekananda. It was the highest experience, no doubt. He was yearning for it. He was importunating Sri Ramakrishna for it. Yet, this was not a complete thing. Because it's left out the world and the humanity. You have an experience of the Absolute. Then you know that Sri Ramakrishna passed away and he was, you see, he built up a kind of monastery in which Sri Ramakrishna himself participated posthumously. And because he found the man, you know all this story. Then Sri Ramakrishna had already commissioned him as the leader of these young boys. So he was doing all this thing, but this yearning was inside him. He was feeling that his experiences were not complete. And the Guru had declared many things, glorious things about him. And he felt that he was not up to it. Something was incomplete in him. That was his feeling. So, you see, he went to the Holy Mother to have her consent, because Swami Vivekananda used not to take any decision without the Holy Mother's consent or without a direct command from God. So he went and to please her, he sang a few songs and then put his proposal before her, that he would like to go for tapasya as a wandering monk, as wandering and begging his food, till he gets what he wants. He himself did not know, but he felt that something is not complete, because Guru had declared many things and he was not feeling that he was up to it. And he didn't know also how to do it. You see. And what exactly was his mission. So he went out, and then there was another great meditation. He was meditating, but there was another great meditation, almost in the Buddha fashion, you see, near Almora, you see, under a tree. He himself said Akhandananda was by his side, because Mother, the Holy Mother, told Akhandananda, do you know all the nooks and corners of the Himalayas? So please look after them. So Akhandananda was with him. Swami Vivekananda rose from the seat of meditation and told Amarananda, under this tree, one of the great problems of my life has been solved. He did not say anything else. Amarananda was curious, and Naren scribbled something in a notebook. Amarananda had a glance over those pages of the notebook. The message is this. That means that was his intuition, mystic intuition. He wrote that as we have a body, human body, inside that is lodged the human soul. Similarly, there is this universe. There is this universe, the phenomenal universe, gross universe, and inside that is lodged the cosmic soul. He says that the formed and the unformed, they are in embrace, like Shiva and Shakti. You see, he's writing all these things. And this is the whole thing. What does it mean actually by this? It means that the Advaita Tattva, of which he had the experience, non-indirect, to put in the language of Shankara or Paraksha. So that experience he had, and this Advaita Tattva, this may be the soul of the universe, but it is forever, they are intertwined. Now, what is this Advaita Tattva is the same thing which is the universe. That's why Ramakrishna used to say, the Jnani, he rejects the universe, but the Vijnani says that this universe, he has become this universe. Jnani means one who has the conviction that Brahman is the final truth. Vijnani means who has very special experience. Not only experience once, but Brahmanishta. See, there is this term occurs again and again in the Upanishads. Brahma Vidam Barishta. The greatest among the knowers of Brahman. There will be many people who had glimpses of the highest truth, but there are people who are, great among these great. So, Vijnani sees this, and Naren had this. After this, he ceases to be an aspirant. He had become the Acharya. We have proof that by 91, at least, all those lectures we read in the complete works, the major themes were very clear in his mind by 1891. Because one day he was speaking to one of the brother disciples and he was taking note. We find his theories in a germinal form, everything by that time. It happened in the Himalayas. So he had already become an Acharya by that time. And he would never forget, his preparation, doctrinally speaking, was over by 1891. Now that is, you see, that is reflected in this Sakar and Pratik. I have seen recently in India, I have not, see, a book in Bengali by Shankara, where towards the end of the book, the title of the book is something like The Unknown Vivekananda, etc. And towards the end, this poem is printed. And he says that it is a very special poem, that's why he puts it in this book, The Unknown Vivekananda. And there is he adds in a note that to a friend, who is this friend? There are many opinions, he says. Some say it is Sri Ramakrishna, this friend. Some say it is Brahmananda, some say it is Ramakrishnananda. I do not think, you see, when I read the poem, that any of these theories are correct. This poem is addressed to the afflicted humanity. This poem is addressed to the afflicted humanity, to a friend. Now, what is he saying, trying to convey? What are the ideas in this? The poem is original in Bengali. I have two versions of it before me. One by the American poet Muffet. He did it in 1935. It was published in Modern Review, but I do not know why a portion of the original poem he did not translate at all. You see, he dropped a few lines, you see, he did not translate, but he translated other things. And there is another translation which we find in the complete works, printed complete works. And both versions are before me, in front of me. There are a few minor mistakes in both translations. First here, a few lines, which is, you see, certainly he took the help, this American poet took the help of a Bengali to understand this, you see. So it was that Bengali, you see, person's mistake that is there, and this mistake has been conveyed to this, I find in the complete works here also. It is in the script in front of you, it is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Just in the beginning of the eighth stanza, for religion many creeds have I sought. When I looked over Muffet's translation, he has this, you see. I know why this mistake has been done. It is because of the peculiarity of the Bengali language. There is a kind of anarchy in Bengali writing. That means, you see, usually many words are there which end in ota. Bengalis pronounced certain times both, as you see, as if there is a horse, that means no vowel at the end, or they pronounce it at o. So if you read it with horse, then this translation may be credible, but then the composition seems to be very peculiar. Dharmatare korikato mat. If you Dharmatare korikato mat, this is a very poor composition. You see, It should be read as Dharmotare Kuri Kotomoto. Kuri Kotomoto Garunati Shashanualaya, which means how many different ways I have adopted for the sake of religion. But the translation here is for religion, many creeds have I sought. That means they have read it as Dharmotare Kuri Kotomoto. It is a mistake here. Anyhow, and also in this translation, especially you see, I do not know why they have done it. You see, they have put certain Sanskrit words which could be avoided. Mafit has done more, you see, correctly, and anyhow, that is another thing. For example, this listen or bihangam, bereft of wings. So why this Sanskrit word? Bihangam was there, original composition, but there are English words for it. You see, bihangam means bird. Bird, you see. So he has done it. Hearken the word bereft of wings. That is Mafis translation. Here they have done. You see, it is first, second, third, fourth stanza from the bottom. Fourth stanza from the bottom. In the middle you find listening of bihangam bereft of wings. You see, when you do the translation, why do you do it like that? You see, you suppose that people will understand Sanskrit words. It is not. It should be done only in cases when a word is not translatable. Anyhow, then the samsara, etc., these words have been used. This could have been avoided. Anyhow, you can understand it. Now, first of all, these first, second, third, fourth, fifth, these 5 stages in the very beginning of the poem, it is conveying the following idea, that the world, this universe, is full of contradictions and illusory appearances. So you are easily led to the wrong conclusion. Where darkness is interpreted as light, why is saying so? You see, in the Gita also you find this, Yanisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Yagrati Samyam Yasyam Yagrati Bhutani Sanisha Pashyatu Munehe. What is night for all beings, that is the daylight for the man of control. That means, you see, ordinary people are after sense enjoyment, or you see, they are nourishing their ego, etc. The man of control, you see, he is almost dead to it, and vice versa. So this is where darkness is interpreted as light, where misery passes for happiness, where disease is pretended to be health, where the newborn's cry but shows it's alive. You know, when the child is born, if it is crying, there is a sign that it is alive, and everybody is happy about it. So this is the condition. You see, the child is crying, everybody is happy. Tulsi jab yag mein aaye jag hase tum roya. Tulsi, when you came to this world, you were crying, but the whole world was smiling. Aisi karni kar kayo chalo ki tum hase jag roya. You pass your life in such a manner that you pass away from this world smiling while the whole world is weeping for you. So that is it. So dost thou, wise, expect happiness here? So how can you expect happiness in this world? Yes, that is the question. Where war and competition ceaseless run, even the father turns raise the son. Where self is always the only note, dost thou, wise, seek for peace supreme here? You see, his own experience, you see, he passed through tremendous ordeal after the passing away of his father in February 84. He was a 21-year-old boy, and suddenly he found that their papa, that means the father, had huge debt. So as the eldest son of the family, he had all the responsibilities, especially in those days. And he was searching for a job. You know all these stories. His father did not turn against him, but his uncle turned. You see, the family of the uncle. They are doing everything under the sun to put the family, especially his mother, in trouble. They even tried to evict her from the home. You see. So all this he had to face. So this is, you see, his own experience. A glaring mixture of heaven and hell, who can fly from the samsara of Maya? Let me see how has Moffitt done it. Who can escape this wretched world, every heaven and hell in one? Say, where can the poor slave, constrained with karma's fetters in his neck, find out at length his freedom here? This is how Moffitt has done it. So, this samsara of Maya, that means this samsara, Kivapari Charita samsara, that is the original Bengali. Because the karma is there. You are tied to the karma, so you cannot escape. The paths of yoga and of sense enjoyment, the life, the householder and sannyasa, and this sannyasa could have been avoided, he has avoided it. Devotion, worship and earning riches, vows, tyaga. Tyaga is a Sanskrit word, it could have been avoided. Tyaga means renunciation. He has done it with dispassion, this word. And austerity is severe. Austerity is severe, to Englishmen it will mean something else. You see. So he has put it correctly, asceticism. Tapasya Patal means asceticism. I have seen through them all, what have I known? Have known there is not a jot of happiness. Life is only a cup of Tantalus. This is in English translation. It is, you know, the Tantalus, the Greek mythology. You see, when the Odyssey went to the underworld, he found Tantalus there. And the stories like this, Tantalus used to frequent the heaven, and he was friendly with the gods. So he was frequently at the temple of the gods. And one day he stole the nectar to bring the nectar to his own people. And he was caught. And then he was punished. He was punished by Jews to be put in this hell where there will be branches very low, full of juicy fruits. And when we try to reach it, it will go up the branches. And this sweet water below. And when he is thirsty trying to drink it, the water will recede. So this is Tantalus. You see. So, story of Tantalus, from which the English word tantalizing has come. You see. So, the cup of Tantalus, the nobler is your heart, know for certain the more must be your share of misery. So this is from his own experience, he is telling all these things. He went through all these ordeals at that time in 84. For some time he was also employed as the headmaster of a school, and then he lost his job. There was a charge against him that he was inefficient. All those things, you see, very. Sometimes he used to copy, you see, or correct manuscripts for little money. You see, very pitiable condition. Then the next portion. Thou large-hearted, lover, unselfish, no, there is no room in the sordid world for thee. Can a marble figure ever brook the blow that iron must can afford to bear? Couldst thou be as one inert and abject, honey-mouthed, and with poison in thy heart, destitute of truth and worshipping self, then thou wouldst have a place in this samsara. So here, you see, a funny thing, you see, it is a sadhu told me once, a monk of the order, that in Vedanta there are six virtues known as Shat Sampatti, spiritual wealth, 6 kinds. Shama Dhamma, Shraddha Uparati, Shama Dhamma Tidiksha, Shraddha Uparati Samadha. These are the things. Shama Dhamma means control of the mind and the body. Tidiksha means forbearance. Shraddha means faith, not faith as it is originally understood. Shraddha, the word comes with Shraddha. Shrat means is the other name for Satya. And Dha means the put, you are putting. That means you are putting your conviction as truth in something. This is how the word has come. So Shraddha, Uparati means indrawnness, and Samadhana means your meditation, the power of meditation, meditative mood. So he said that Swamiji is talking about Shat Sampatti for becoming successful in this world. He mentions the 6 things. Inert, abject, honey-mouthed, poison in the heart, destitute of truth, and worshipping self. Highly selfish. These are the 6 say, qualities to become successful in this life. So, pledging even life for gaining knowledge, I have devoted half my days in art. Now here comes a part where it is a kind of his autobiography. He says, half of my life I have finished in search of knowledge. You see, everywhere. When he found, a great scholar in Western India, he spent days with him to learn the commentary on the book of Panini, the grammarian. He studied also in the Himalayas. When he found a good library in Meerut, he almost exhausted it. He was for a long time at Meerut. And then finally at Shankar Panduranga's library in Gujarat. He stayed for many, many months there because he had a wonderful library. So that's why he said that I finished half my life in search of knowledge. For the sake of life, even as one insane, I have often clutched at shadows life lays. I think he is mentioning here, because he was relying on friends during his difficult days, and the friends failed. For religion, many creeds have I sought. This is a mistake, I have said. It should be, the translation should be, for religion, I have gone in different directions and doing different things. That should be the translation. Lived in mountain caves, on cremation grounds, by the Ganga and other sacred streams. And how many days have I passed in arms, friendless, clad in rags, with no position, feeding from door to door, and what chances bring, the frame broken under tapasya's weight. This tapasya could have been avoided here. What riches hast thou have I earned in life? Especially, he was, we do not know everything about these days. Something have come to us in trickles. Because sometimes you talk about these things. But we know certain things is great, danger. He fell in Limdi, in Gujarat, in Vrindavan once, His only a piece of cloth for his garment. It was taken away by the monkey. The only piece of cloth. So all these things, we know. On the Himalayas, you know that, he fainted because he had not eaten anything for 5 days. So few things we know, but everything is not known to us. He passed through many, many such dangers. Listen, friend, I will speak my heart to thee. I have found in my life this truth supreme. Buffeted by waves in this world of life, there is one ferry that takes across the sea. Formulas of worship, control of breath, science, philosophy, systems varied, relinquishment, possession, and life, all these are but delusions of the mind. Love, that is the one thing the soul treasures. Now, you must be careful here. In Sanskrit, there is a word called taparya. purport, tatparya. Sometimes certain things are shown as very minor things. It is not the idea that you are decrying those things. The idea is to heighten, to accent upon something. Here he is accenting upon love. Love means, not only the vertical love which mystics know, but the horizontal love. Love which flows, towards the fellow being. There is a sentence, of a mystic, is there that if you are in a mood of meditation and you find that your brother needs a warm soup because he is sick, leave your seat of meditation and prepare the soup for your brother. You will not lament it later. I think it must be something Ruisbrook or something like that, the mystic's word. So even Sri Ramakrishna said to Hajara, so long you need a special decoction because you have a sore throat, you should also take care of your mother. Meaning that you are doing something for your body and you are ignoring all other duties. You see? This is the word of Sri Ramakrishna. He said to Hajara, so long you have the need to prepare a special decoction to cure your sore throat. You see, you need to look after your mother. So this is the idea is that he is not decrying formulas of worship or pranayama or science or philosophy, but he wants to bring to the fore this truth of love, very active love. In Jiva and Brahman, in man and God, in ghosts, wraiths, spirits and so forth, in devas, beasts, birds, insects and worms, this prema dwells in the heart of them all. You see, again, then the original Bengali is not like this a little. He has taken great liberty in translating Jiva Brahma Manav Ishvara Bhoot Preta Adi Devagan Pushupakhi Kita Anukrit Ei Prem Hridaya Shavad. Bhuta Preta, Bhuta is phantom, Preta is anyone departed is called Preta, you see. Preta, and Devagan, normally Deva is the inhabitant of the celestial sphere. So he has done it as wraith. Wraith is that, you see, sometimes you see a human being, the likeness of him just before his death. Normally that is called wraith. Now, say who else is the highest God of gods? Say who else moves all the universe? The mother dies for young, the robber robs. Both are but the impulse of the same love. It is the love everywhere, that is he is saying, that in some form or other it is the love. So that love is deified by him. Love is deified by him, and here he is. This translation is better here. Beyond both speech and mind, concealed in grief and happiness dwells love. Kali, all terrible, it is death's own embodiment, who comes as kindest mother to us all. Grief, sickness, pinching poverty, vice, virtue, fruits of deeds alike, both good and ill, love's worshipper in varying guise. For whom else, say, does any preacher labor here? I say, better translation here. Now, deluded is he who happiness seeks, lunatic he who misery wishes, insane he too who fondly longs for death, immortality, vain aspiration. You see, vain aspiration, these are not really vain, you see. People, as Kathopanishad says, you see, that some people, you see, gain immortality, you see, by turning their sense organ inwards, not outlooking. So, but here he wants to highlight love. So, then yes, now far away, however far you may travel, mounted in a brilliant mental car, it is the same ocean of the samsara, happiness and misery whirling on. Listen of Vihangam, bereft of wings, the better translation, hearken the word bereft of wings. Moffitt has done it like this. It is not the way to make good your escape. Time and again you get blows and collapse, why then attempt what is impossible? Because you see, even if you have the experience, that experience is not complete, because you do not have vijnanas yet. Even if you have the highest experience of samadhi, you see, because you have ignored the world and its creatures. Let go your vain reliance on knowledge, let go your prayers offering strength, for love selfless is the only resource. Lo, the insects teach, embracing the flame, the base insects blind. By beauty charm, their soul is drunken with the wine of love. Now the example of the insect, it is a negative example. The insect rushes to the flame and thereby perishes itself. So he is the teacher in the Bhagavata fashion. This is the Bhagavata, the Abhadhuta had many teachers like this. So it is he is saying this. So, by the charm of the physical beauty, you ruin yourself. That is what he is saying. Say, comes happiness ever to a beggar? What good being object of charity? Give away, never to return, never turn to ask in return. Should there be the wealth treasured in the heart, born to the infinite, thou art within the heart is the ocean of love. Give away, whoever asks return, his ocean dwindles down to a mere drop. This is very faithful to the Bengali original. That means it's a clarion call for opening your heart. From highest Brahman, the underworld, and to the very minutest atom, everywhere is the same God, we all love. Train, offer mind, soul, body at their feet. These are his manifold forms before thee, rejecting them, where seekest thou for God? Who loves all beings without distinction, he indeed is worshipping best his God. So So this is his, you see, this is his kind of, his own, he himself has given this, remember, this lines of Vivekananda, be bold and face the truth, be one in it, let vision seize, or if you cannot, dream of truer dreams, which eternal love and service free. If you are very bold, and then you say, let vision seize, that the vision is this phenomenal, universal, vanish before your eyes. Be one in it. If you cannot, dream of truer dreams. These are the truer dreams. Eternal love and service free. He has given his formula. So, thank you for your patience. Sakha, a little address to this afflicted humanity.